You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
DC Insider warns of very real GOP plot to stop Dem takeover after November victory, based on an article by Sarah K. Boris. The speakership as a choke point. James Carville's warning is simple: Republicans are not just running campaigns, they are testing the machinery of government for ways to delay, obstruct, and hang onto power. The immediate example in the source is Speaker Mike Johnson's handling of Adelita Grijalva's swearing-in after her special election win, amid concern that the delay was meant to interfere with a discharge petition on the Epstein files. Power lives in procedure. The relevant fact is not confusion. It is control. Mike Johnson holds institutional power as Speaker of the House, and that power includes the ability to shape when a duly elected member is seated. When one person can bottleneck representation for political purposes, that is not playing games. It is procedural leverage being used as a weapon. Grijalva's own floor speech named the problem directly. One individual should not be able to unilaterally obstruct the swearing-in of a duly elected member for political reasons. That is the right frame. The problem is not etiquette. It is veto power over representation. Delay is the point. The source makes clear what the delay was suspected to serve as stalling a discharge petition that would force action on releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. That matters because it shows the motive is not abstract partisanship, but concealment and control over what reaches the floor. This is how institutional sabotage works in plain sight. No tanks, no declarations, just procedural drag, selective timing, and a lot of deniability. The harm is real even when it is disguised as parliamentary routine. Lawyers are not our strategy. Carville and Al Hunt are right to tell Democrats to prepare legal responses. But legal readiness is the minimum, not the answer. If the opposition is willing to exploit every procedural seam, then Democrats cannot treat the House as a polite chamber governed by shared norms. They need to assume the other side will use every available office to distort representation before a vote is even cast. That is why the early warning system language is useful. It names the real threat, not one isolated stunt, but a repeatable method. Forewarning only matters if it is paired with institutional discipline and public exposure before the sabotage is complete. Republicans know the clock. The source also notes something the press often buries under its civility ritual. Republicans have already shown they understand how to use mid-decade redistricting and gerrymandering to erase Democratic-leaning seats. That is not democratic competition. It is engineered insulation from accountability. And yet they are still expected to lose the House. That helps explain the urgency. When a party knows it may lose power, it does not always prepare to govern honestly. It prepares to harden the exits, jam the doors, and stretch every rule that can slow the transfer of power. The pattern is authoritarian triage. This story is not about one speaker and one delayed swearing-in. It is about a broader pattern. When democratic rules stop producing the outcome a party wants, the party's operators shift from winning to obstructing. They lean on procedure, redistricting, and institutional cowardice to keep power in place as long as possible. The democratic response cannot be confusion, and it cannot be decorum theater. It has to name the tactic, expose the actor, and treat procedural sabotage as what it is: a method of political control that erodes representation one delay at a time. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to AutoNet for today's article. With it automated voice of Bryce. Thanks for listening.